Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of The Throw Show. This is episode 2 of our Tokyo 2025 World Championship preview show. In the first episode, we discussed the discus throw as well as the hammer throw. So if you want to see our predictions on those events leading into this year's World Championship, make sure you check out that video. It went out a few days prior to this one. This will be the second video of our 2-episode series. So we hope you enjoy, as we will be discussing the javelin for men and women as well as the shot put for men and women. This is such a cool event. There are so many open slots, so many different things that could happen that are unexpected, especially in some events like the women's shot put, where our predictions last year completely went out the window and we saw athletes that we did not expect make that podium, and we can expect the same for events this year. So that's why it's important to check this show out, be it learn who is in the running and who could potentially be the major upsets to completely change up the form chart. But before we get into that, I think it's worth saying, so Sam and I decided to have a bet going into this preview show, and that is we are going to total up who we think is going to be in our predictions, who we think is going to win, where we lay out our points. So if you want to see how we did in the first episode, you can check it out there. Who we think is going to reach the medal stand. We're only going to be doing predictions for who we think is going to medal at this World Championships. And basically, whoever wins, the other person gets to buy them Chipotle, and I'll record that so we can see who is actually the top dog of Throws predictions here at Throws University. So let's get into it. And the first event we'll be discussing today is the men's javelin. What's important to know is that the reigning Olympic champion Arshad Nadeem, who is also the Olympic record holder at over 92 meters, chances are he will not be competing at this year's World Championships. It's very hard to say. He competed at the Asian Championships earlier this year in May, threw over 86 meters, was the champion there, but has suffered an injury following that event and has not competed since then. So as of right now, we're going with the assumption that Arshad is probably out of this competition, but we will not know unless he actually signs up on the day and is competing and qualifying. So there's a chance that we could have some inaccuracies there just by nature of not including Arshad in this championship. So I want to set that as the preface going into this, but we are going to be discussing our medalists starting from bronze, silver, and then finally gold. And we'll start off with Coach Sam today. Coach Sam, who are your medalists in the men's javelin throw?
Yeah, so if this list was a little more challenging for me, just because of recency bias, USA bias, and just me not being as familiar with javelin on the international stage. Like, obviously I watch every competition, but throughout the season I just haven't really been as tapped in this year outside of the highlights on Instagram. So my bronze spot, I have a tie. I just really couldn't pick anyone. First, I have Curtis Thompson. Curtis has thrown 87 two times, or 87 plus 2 times this year. He opened up at 87, and his most recent competition was over 87. He's been fairly consistent overall this season. So
very consistent, multiple meets over 83.
Yes, very consistent. So that's my USA team bias right there. He is my bronze medalist. Now, also, because it was either or, I have Luis de la Silva from Brazil. He went 91. I feel like he's been pretty consistent, based off his statistics, his performances this year. So I feel like if you throw over 90, it's hard to not be on the top 3 list. And his performances were fairly consistent. So I have either or. Like I said, my third pick is very 100% biased between Team USA and recency biased. My silver spot, I have Chopra.
So I have a question then. You got to choose one, because if we're going to be doing picks, and you have
Curtis
2
Thompson.
people in your slot.
Curtis Thompson. Team
okay.
USA.
So you're taking out Silva and you're locking in Curtis
Thompson.
I'm just saying. Okay. We have that on video. No, because if we're going to be doing points for a challenge and you have 2 people in a slot, that's not fair.
Yeah, I guess. It doesn't matter. Statistically, I've won this challenge more than you have, so it didn't even matter.
Fine. Curtis Thompson's your pick for bronze,
It
right?
didn't even matter. Yeah, Curtis
Okay.
Thompson. I'm locking that in.
Gotcha.
You're gonna need all the help anyway. I have Chopra as my silver. I have Weber as my gold. Honestly, I feel like those two could go
Either way.
I had Weber winning the Olympics, and unfortunately he didn't come through for my pick, but I feel like he's just been, on a tear this season. Obviously Chopra has been one of the top dogs just the last 5 years or so. So I feel like it'd be weird not to have him on my list. And both of them have been competing fairly well and have been consistent. So they are within my top 3.
They also have both hit personal bests this year. So for my medalists, it's going to be somewhat similar to Sam. Our bronze medalist is going to be very different. This one is also personal bias, but I do think he's been backing up with very consistent marks this year on the international stage. And I personally want to see this person come back to form, because this person is a previous world champion, their previous Olympic silver medalist, and that is Kenya's Julius Yego. I think he has one of the coolest stories in the sport of track and field of how he learned how to throw the javelin, especially in a country that's not known for throwers like Kenya and did not have the resources to really help him, but he learned through YouTube and has such a cool story. He has thrown over 92 meters in stadium when he won the 2015 World Championship, and he has been proving with multiple meets over 85 this year that he is back into good form, and I think he's going to be the type of person that can peak well. So I'm going to go with Julius Yego in the bronze medalist position. For second place, I agree with Sam. I'm going to go with Neeraj Chopra in the silver medal position. Chopra has been very consistent the last several years, but I think I have to go like Sam. He's a big fan of Julian Weber. I think Weber looks so good right now. He's been very consistent. I think he knows that he's capable of winning this world title, and I feel like this is just Weber's time. Chopra has already been an Olympic champion. He's already been an Olympic medalist. I think this is Weber's opportunity to finally take gold and show the world what he's got. Sam, what do you think is going to take to medal at this championship?
That's a good question. Honestly, I have Curtis as my number 3. He's gone over 87 twice this season. So I'm going to have to say 87 minimum to place. I think my top 2 are definitely going to throw 89, maybe 90 within that range. I hope. But I think they're definitely within that range. But with Curtis being my number 3, I think you have to throw over 87.
I think that's a good pick. That's probably the number I would choose as well. I think the top 3 is going to go 87 plus. I'm really hoping Yego's on the comeback train. He had some nasty injuries that he had to deal with for several years. So to see him throwing 86 plus at most recent major championships is really exciting. So I think 87 is very reasonable to make that podium.
Throws coaches, how do you peak your throwers at the perfect time? How do you get them to throw as far as possible during championship season? That might be at the state championship level. That might be at the NCAA collegiate level. These are all factors that a lot of throws coaches are struggling with and dealing with. And it comes back to understanding the biomechanics of throwing. It comes back to understanding how to execute technique and how to approach that competition setting with the highest mental degree that you can have. And we're going to provide this all for you guys at the 2025 Throws Coaches Clinic. And we're going to have Dr. Christoph Kipp, Darrell Hill, Diamond League champ, 2016 Olympian, Sam Weeks, who's coached All-Americans and state champs here in Pennsylvania, myself included. We're going to be giving you guys a bunch of presentations, hands-on applied coaching as well, and you're going to be able to take this stuff away to help you become a better coach. This year's Coaches Clinic is November 21st and 22nd here in Fleetwood, Pennsylvania. Sign up down below to get that early bird discount, 20% off. It ends October 31st. Peace.
Now we'll move on to the shot put. We're going to be discussing the women's shot put next. And I think what's important to preface here is the medalists who we thought were going to be medalists last year were not medalists. So anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Or the conditions were not great last year in Paris, it was very rainy. I don't expect to see the same conditions here in Tokyo. But Chase Jackson, who's been the most dominant athlete of the last 2 years in the event, did not even make out qualifying last year. So I think it's important to understand that as we look into who could potentially make this who could make this podium. But I think what's important to understand is Chase Jackson is the reigning world champion. Chase Jackson has had the most amount of throws, closest to 21 meters in the last several years since Valerie Adams. So understanding that she's likely the front runner. Sam, who are your picks to medal in the women's shot put?
Yeah, so my top 3 are 3 women that we've been talking about all year. For my bronze, I have Jessica Shielder. I feel like, dude, just indoor, outdoor, she's been fairly consistent, competing with these top 3 women that I'm going to name. I feel like she's just been in good form. In previous years, it was kind of like a little bit rocky.
Yeah.
But I feel like this year, for whatever, obviously each year you're going to get better. But I feel like this year she's really been dialed in just throughout the whole year. So I have her as my bronze, my number 3. For silver, my number 2, I have Sarah Mitten. A little bit of bias because, I did meet Sarah, but dude, she's been fairly consistent as well. Like, we've been talking about her all year. She's thrown over 2060 on, I think, 2 occasions this year, maybe 1 occasion this year.
Well, so she just hit a new season's best an hour prior to us recording.
Yeah.
With her going 2067, which is 1 centimeter short of her personal best.
Yeah.
And then
I don't want to spoil that, but spoilers. But yeah, she's been throwing far pretty much all year. She's been competing with the other 2 all year, and I feel like right now she's in really good shape, and I feel like she could probably get something done at this World Championships. And my number 1 is the defending champ, Chase Jackson. Dude, she's thrown over 2090 on 2 occasions this year, 3 occasions this year.
3 now.
3 occasions this year. It's hard to not have her on my list, but you did bring up last year where, she wasn't there. Anything could happen, but I just feel like with the recent performances and the stuff her and her team have been doing, I just feel like that's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, I think that's very reasonable. And I'll get right into my medalist because mine's going to be a little different. This one is probably going to be the most wild card pick that I have. But man, if you look at her history at World Championships and Olympic Games, this woman, while she might not have the biggest personal best on the board compared to others, always delivers at the major championship. And I'm choosing Madison Lee Wesch out of New Zealand. She's taking up the mantle from Valerie Adams, continuing her legacy of New Zealand women's shot putting. She was a surprise medalist last year in Paris, getting the silver medal, hitting a new personal best. And that's one thing you'll see with a lot of Madison's competitions is she will regularly hit season's best or personal best at major championships. Mm-hmm. And I think that's dangerous because if her hitting a personal best at this competition, that's a 20-meter throw. And just knowing I have that confidence that Madison games up when she needs to, I think she's going to be a surprise medalist. She's going to be a surprise to most people, but if you look at her history, I think it's not that surprising. Now you'll notice one thing I'll say before I get into the other 2 picks. Both Sam and I do not have the reigning Olympic champion Yemisi Ogunleye on our podium, and that's just simply because I haven't seen Yemi really back up her big throw from last year too much, and it's that consistency I think that leads to those expectations of really big championship level throwing. Mm-hmm. So now if she were to medal, I don't think it would be that surprising when you're a reigning Olympic champion. Yeah. But that's basically why if you look at the consistency of the form chart, we probably don't have Yemi on that list for that reason. Now, my silver medalist and gold medalist are the same exact as Sam's. I'm choosing Sarah Mitten in the silver medal spot and Chase Jackson in the gold medalist spot. What's important to know about Sarah is Sarah just competed in the Diamond League final. I don't know the full results of that competition. What I do know after Dane sent me some video is that she threw 2067, 1 centimeter short of her outdoor personal best, 2 centimeters short of her overall best, which is 2069 from the indoor season. Sarah is the reigning world indoor champion. She's the reigning Diamond League champion. Again, I don't know the results of the Diamond League final, so she may have just won another Diamond League. If after recording, we'll know. So Sarah's looking to be in really good shape at the right time. Multiple throws this season over 20 meters. So Sarah's going to be my pick. But ultimately, no one has come close to Chase Jackson's marks. She's had 4 throws over the previous American record from the previous year. She apparently threw 2084 off of a bruised knuckle at the national championships. If you look at her last throw show where we go over the national championships, she also did an interview where basically she's been saying she's been throwing 21 meters consistently in training. Granted, that doesn't really mean anything in the sport in terms of overall performance, but it is a good indicator to back up the claims and the results that she's been having in comp. I think this is Chase's year as long as she stays healthy and she recovers that knuckle. I don't think there's any reason as long as I think the thing is she has so much championship experience now, especially at Diamond Leagues, and she is a world champion. I think now whatever mistakes she may have made in Paris won't be a factor this year. Mm-hmm. I just think her and her team are very dialed in, and this is going to be the year that Chase goes. My question for you, because we've been talking about this for the last year now, this whole year of throw shows since January, of who is going to be the first person to throw 21. Does 21 meters finally go down in this competition?
I don't think so.
Really? Okay.
I think it's going to be extremely close. I don't think it's going to be this competition.
Okay. I think what's important to note is Chase has said that she's had training throws over 21 meters. Mm-hmm. Last year at the Diamond League final, Sarah fouled what was 100% a 21 meter throw. Mm-hmm. So we know both Chase and Sarah have the physical ability to throw 21 plus. But I'm going to lay it down. I think 21 meters is going to win this competition. I think this is the year this is the event that everyone's building towards. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing about like someone like Chase is I just feel like she's going to be that much more excited to do a 21 meter throw specifically in Japan. Without calling her out, she is kind of a weeb like Sam and I is. I asked her a few anime questions during nationals, and I feel like it would just be like the perfect cherry on the ice cream of this season if she were to throw 21 meters, first woman since Valerie Adams, and do it in Tokyo, Japan. Mm-hmm.
I definitely think that it's going to take 20 meters to podium.
Yeah.
I feel like between both of our lists, these women have been throwing far on a consistent basis. I think Madison Lee, she really does game. Like, she's a gamer. She's shown up at major championships in years past. So I think if she does really, really well, I do think she'll PR, and I think she will break that 20-meter barrier. But I do think that it's going to take 20 meters to be top 3.
I 100% agree. And that's the thing. You brought up Jessica Schilder. I think she's a safe pick. She's had multiple throws over 20 meters this season, this outdoor and indoor season. I think she threw almost 2070 indoors. So I think it's like all worthwhile picks. But I just have a feel. I always go with my gut on some athletes, and Madison is my gut feeling for this competition. Mm-hmm. So now we'll move on to the women's javelin throw. What's important to note here is that the World Championships are taking place in Tokyo, Japan, and the reigning world and Olympic champion is the Japanese athlete Haruka Kitaguchi. What's crazy about the women's javelin, and I'll preface this before we go into Sam's pick, this competition is wide open in terms of like personal bests, consistency over certain marks this year. This was probably the hardest event for Sam and I to call. But Sam, who are your picks to podium in the women's javelin?
Okay, so I think you're actually going to be surprised with my list.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I think you're going to be thoroughly surprised. To preference, like Jason was saying, this year it is wide open. Anyone could win it. I believe there are athletes who would easily win it who aren't competing. And you might have to chop this. That one girl, the 16-year-old.
Oh yeah,
Japan,
the Chinese. Yeah, Chinese.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's not competing.
I think that's worth mentioning is the world junior record holder in the women's javelin is a Chinese athlete named Ji, and she is not eligible to compete at Worlds because she is too young.
Yeah, I would have put her at number 1. She was
really?
She was going crazy.
at 64 meters.
Bro, I'm sorry. She was going crazy.
Okay.
But if we are going on my list, my bronze is Haruka Kitaguchi.
Sam.
Yeah, bro.
Sam.
I have
The
her.
betrayal.
The betrayal.
The absolute betrayal
The
of this
betrayal.
man.
I have her as...
You were Team Haruka all year last year.
100%.
This is a Tokyo World Championship, Sam. What are you doing?
100%,
What
dude.
changed? What changed? Please tell me.
Nothing really changed. I mean, looking at the statistics, I just feel like, I don't know. She hasn't really been as, as in that top form as, previous years. But I also think number 2 and 1 for me have just, thrown further.
Okay.
On a more consistent basis. But
the absolute
I
gall.
still think, bro, if you give Haruka 6 attempts, dude, like anything can happen. She's proven it on several occasions. I'm still ride or die. I just don't have her as my number 1. Maybe she watches this. Maybe she, I don't know, clutches it out.
Man,
you never know.
I know that YouTube has allowed English, different language closed captioning on our videos. Man, I think it'd be so cool if
sick.
athletes from other countries who can't speak English watch the throw show.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
That's a lot of reading because these shows are long.
Yeah. So for my silver, my number 2, I have Adriana Vilagos. Is that how you say it?
Vilagos. Yeah.
Vilagos.
Out of Serbia.
Yeah, I feel like we've talked about her, a few times on the throw show.
She's gone 67 this season, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She is the number 2 on the world's list this year. I feel like she's been throwing far on numerous occasions this year. I've definitely seen her name pop up on Instagram. Obviously, we've talked about her on the throw show. She has really good technique. So I could definitely see her, definitely being within the top 3. So for my gold medalist, I have Victoria Hudson from Austria. This is an athlete that I personally follow and I've used as a technical model in previous years when I was coaching in the collegiate system. I feel like the last couple years she's been really coming into form, placing fairly well, given, her status in these major championships. She does have the world lead this year at 67.76, and I just feel like kind of riding that coattail, like this is probably her best year to really make a claim for gold. So
my picks for the medal stand in the women's javelin, same names as you, different order. Admittedly, I was not fully aware. I completely forgot that Victoria Hudson has the world lead in the women's javelin this year. And I originally had another athlete, but based off of re-looking at the statistics and that she does have the world lead, I think it would be dumb of me not to have her on the list. So I'm going to have Victoria Hudson as my bronze medalist. I haven't seen as much from her. You are more familiar with her, as you've previously stated, by picking her to win the world championship. But I think it just can't be discounted, like how far she has thrown this year. Admittedly, the women's javelin is probably my weakest event in terms of knowledge of, the depth and who's actively competing in the event. So I'm going to go with Victoria Hudson, the bronze medal. I'm going to go with Adriana Vilagos, Serbia, in the silver medal position, mainly because she's been very consistent all year, throwing over 64, 65 plus, which is very difficult to do. Not many women have done that. And I think that consistency is going to carry her to a silver medal and will be a big career-making performance for her. Now for the gold medalist, I still believe in Haruka. Because it is a home world championship, I feel like for the last several years, she has had that date circled on her calendar, knowing 2025 is her championship. Because what's important to know is, from my understanding, she is the only Japanese athlete in athletics that has a very good shot at medaling at this championship. So I'm likely going to be at this championship. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get tickets for the women's javelin final, but I am willing to bet you money she is going to have at least 50,000 people screaming for her
100%
when she gets on that runway. And I feel like we never get a chance to talk about home court advantage for athletes. We always hear this in football, basketball, even baseball and soccer about like that home field advantage. She is going to have the pride of Japan on her back, knowing that's like she is the best chance for them to get any medal at this championship. And I think that's going to carry her to victory.
I think that's fair.
She's the previous world champion. She's the previous Olympic champion. She throws well when it is needed.
Yeah.
She doesn't have that far of a personal best relative to other competitors. The difference is, and we always go back to this, the same thing with Cameron Rogers. It's her consistency when it matters. And I think that's going to carry Kitaguchi to another world championship. And I can tell you, like, nothing's going to be sweeter than doing that in Tokyo, in your home field advantage, but also knowing that this is the make good from Tokyo for the COVID Olympics where no one got to see her throw. Now knowing that she's proven herself as a multi-time champion to do it on home soil in front of her hometown crowd.
Absolutely. Like, I think, like you said, home court advantage, like, that's definitely going to boost her. And I think she is the definition of clutch. If you give her 6 attempts, she's going to make something happen. So I think honestly, dude, just like thinking about it in my head, round 6, the crowd's going, like, your home court, like, she actually might win it, like, round 6. I think the other two right now, like, if we're taking all of that away, I think I would keep the other two a little bit higher, but we'll have to see. I agree with Jason. I think for both of us, picking this list was really tough. I do agree that this is our weakest amongst all of the events, but we'll just have to wait and see. You never know what's going to happen.
Now we're going to get into the final event of our preview show, of our 2-episode preview show, and we saved probably the most interesting one for last because there's so many things surrounding this competition in particular that it's just asking to be talked about. There's so much speculation. That is the men's shot put. There are so many stories going into this event. It's so crazy to get through all of them. I don't want to spend too much time and keep you guys any longer than I feel like you need to, but there's so many things to talk about here. So if we look at the last several years, the person who has been the face of men's shot putting is Ryan Krauser. He's a world indoor and outdoor world record holder. He's won every single championship since 2019. World Olympics, world indoors, outside of the most recent world indoors. The only thing is, Krauser has not had an official meet since last season. He has yet to open up, but he has the auto bid from winning the world championships in 23 to get him to this championship. He's on the team. He claims he is competing, but to be honest, we have no idea. And we have no idea what shape he's in. The only point that we have to go from, and I think this is important to understand, was he competed at the first World Shot Put Series at Drake, where he placed like 5th place. He was struggling to throw 70 feet. Now, that was all the way back in April. A lot can change in, 5 months. So, knowing that's the case, and we also are leaving Joe Kovacs off the team. He is not competing. He was the previous world champion before Krauser in that legendary event in 2019. He's been Krauser's bridesmaid for the last several years, getting the silver medal. And then on top of that, the bronze medalist from last year's Olympics, Rajendra Campbell, is in the same boat as Roja Stona, as he switched allegiances to Turkey and will not be competing in a major until 2028 at the LA Olympics. So now knowing that, 2 of last year's medalists are confirmed to definitely not be competing. And there is a chance that come day or week prior, Krauser just says, I'm out. He's not healthy enough. He thought he could get healthy enough to do it, and he just isn't. So all that to say, Sam, what are your picks to medal at this year's World Championships in the men's shot put?
Okay, so as I was creating my list, I had one thing in mind. And as I'm about to say this, I do think there's one person who can disrupt this, but I think it's going to be a Team USA sweep. I think, obviously, we're leaving Joe at home. Joe has medaled the past, 10 years, somewhere between 10 and 13 years. So, obviously, we have always been dominant when Joe is there. We have always been dominant when Ryan is there. Ryan is the greatest shot putter of all time. You can't argue he is the greatest shot putter of all time. I can't not have Ryan on my list. Ryan will always be on my list. But I think just with the two, we're sending 4 dogs, but I think 2 of them are really just in shape to throw far, and I feel like they're going to go into this competition and prove a point. I think it's going to be a Team USA sweep. For my bronze, I have Tripp. For my silver, I have Peyton. And for my gold, I have Krauser. I just feel like Tripp has been going crazy this year. I feel like just with where he's currently at, I feel like he's going to perform really well. He has indoor world experience. He medaled indoors. I just feel like just the way that this back half of the season's been going, he's going to pop off. Peyton has experience. Peyton, went big. He beat Tripp. He beat Joe. He has experience. He's going. And Krauser, I know Krauser hasn't competed pretty much at all this year, but it's Ryan Krauser. I feel like he's in fairly good shape.
We have no idea.
I know we have no idea. This dude is a magician. He has something up his sleeve. He has his trump card. I'm telling you, bro. He's trolling all of us. He's going to go in. He's going to win it all. I feel like he's going to do something like he's going to go back to the regular technique. Maybe he does a static start, first throw to get a mark, and then he just pops off. I don't know. He's going to make it happen.
I'm going to say right here, I do think Ryan Krauser's a bit of a troll because I feel like this was the perfect troll for me specifically. Because I've always tried to be the contrarian by saying, oh, this is going to be the year that Joe finally beats Krauser again. And I would always be proven wrong. And this was going to be the year, after the Olympics last year and Krauser came out swinging and won another gold medal. I was like, you know what, guys? I'm done doubting Krauser. I'm done doing it. I'm just tired of being wrong all the time. Krauser's the GOAT. I'm probably going to choose him for next year's Worlds. And then he had to go and get injured and not compete the entire year. And not only not compete, but the one pseudo competition he competed in that wasn't really an actual competition, the World Shot Put Series, he lost to 4 other guys. And I'm like, gosh, dang it. I find it so hard to justify that Krauser's just going to walk through another world title. And I'm not trying to be a contrarian this time. Mm-hmm. I'm really not. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm trying to be better. I really am. I've been seeking help. Tamand, Sam, Eric Favors, they tried to set me straight. I understand how good Ryan is. I, in my heart of hearts, just cannot see him. If he were to pull this off and win another world title, this has to be going down as one of the greatest feats in the history of track and field, regardless of event. Absolutely, it has to. And he already did it once by, throwing 2350 off of a blood clot in his leg in 2023. But my medalists are going to be somewhat similar to Sam. And one thing I feel like we got to mention, because this person's not on either of our lists, Leonardo Fabri has the world lead right now at 2282. And I just want to pull this up before we get into my list. Dude, that is such a good finish. Oh my gosh. And it just sails over 22 meters. This is Fabri throwing 2282 at the Italian National Championship. And the thing is, though, I don't have him on my list because I feel like his consistency at majors has not been the best. We all thought he was going to walk through a medal last year and end up getting I think 7th place or something. So I'm not super confident in Fabri's ability to get it done. But if this is a championship that Fabry is going to win, similar to the whole Denny situation earlier that we talked about in last episode, this is going to be the one that Fabry could win. Yeah. But as of right now, my confidence points are going to be similar to you, a USA sweep, as my bronze medalist is also Trip Pippery. Now, why do I choose Trip? I've been talking with Trip all season. We interviewed him at the Indoor National Championship, interviewed him at the Outdoor National Championship. This is a guy who's been progressively getting better throughout the indoor and outdoor season, constantly throwing over his personal best or right at his personal best, which has me thinking his confidence level is through the roof right now. Now, there's a chance that he could be too confident and he gets brought down to earth because that's happened to athletes in the past. But I think he already has that championship experience competing at Worlds before. He's a bronze medalist from the World Indoor Championship. I think this is the year that Trip is going to throw right at or over his personal best. I think it's going to be over 22 meters to make the podium this year. And I think he's going to throw over 22, and I think he's going to get his first outdoor world medal. Now, my silver medal. This is where I'm not trying to be a contrarian. If Ryan Krauser competes, I find it very difficult to think that he is going to be throwing close to 23. And I think 2250 plus is what it takes to win this championship. So my expectation is that Ryan is going to do what you said. He's going to try to do a static start, control as much as he can, try to limit as much impact on his elbow as much as he can, probably take only as minimal throws as possible. I still think he could throw like 2230. But to me, thinking he's going to go 2250, 2260 plus, I just don't see it. Given he's just had no competitions. But also, dude, Krauser's the GOAT. Like, he's a certified GOAT. He's the best of all time. No one has ever competed at the level of shot putting that Ryan Krauser has. No one has barely even come close. So he's still going to be on my podium. Number one is a thrower who's been consistent all year, peaking at the right time. I just see that the years of experience have finally added up to make him a complete shot putter. And I think this is the year of Peyton Otterdahl. He's been running through the Diamond League all year, competing in so many meets. He's upped his consistency to very high marks, throwing multiple meets over 22, multiple meets. Like, a bad meet for him is 2175. And I think it's that consistency that's going to carry Peyton to hit, if not a personal best, very close to his personal best at this World Championship. Him, similar to Chase, also kind of a weeb, so I think him winning in Tokyo would mean a lot to him. I see Peyton Otterdahl winning. I see Peyton Otterdahl winning, throwing at least 2240. And I will say I'm leaving Josh Awatunde off this list, mainly just because Josh has had one really, really good meet this year at the U.S. Nationals, and it's very hard to gauge what kind of shape he's in, like if he just went all in to peak for that competition, or if he's going to carry that form into the World Championship. He competed at the NACAC, but he threw like 2160, and that's not going to be a mark I think that can medal. So it's just hard for me to see where his shape actually is to potentially medal at this championship. I know I've had a lot of prefaces to this comp, but there's so many stories leading into it. What are your final thoughts? What do you think is going to take to medal?
I still think it's going to be a Team USA sweep. Obviously, we're sending 4 dogs out there, and they've, been killing it for majority of the year. Obviously, we were saying Josh, really showed up for nationals. He competed at NACAC. I was about to say NESCAC again. NACAC, competed fairly well, but we just don't really know. He's kind of like that wild card. I think if there's anyone to disrupt the Team USA sweep, I do think it would be Fabry. But I'm Team USA all day. I'm biased. This is a 100% biased list, but I think, dude, USA is the strongest in shot put, and it's been like that for a very long time. I feel like, dude, this is the year where we're just going to keep the pedal on the metal.
What do you think of just Fabry throwing as far as he has this year? Like, significantly further than the next best American, because the next best American is Joe at like 2248, and he's thrown almost foot and a half further than that.
Yeah, I mean, dude, obviously Fabry is a great thrower. He's thrown far on numerous occasions. I know before he was having issues with fouling, like they were calling him on the heel fouls. I feel like towards this back end of the year, he's definitely figured it out. And with him figuring it out, he has been throwing far, like he threw 2288.
82, yeah.
82, excuse me. So, like, he has figured something out. I think if there's anyone to disrupt it, it'd be him, but I'm very confident in Team USA right now, and I think they're going to sweep it.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to see another Team USA sweep, mainly just because of the consistency they have. I think that's where I'm not confident in Fabry is his technique scares me. It's like I'd love to pick Fabry because I think it'd be cool to see a guy like him win, but his technique makes me nervous in regards to, like, he literally has a 2-meter differential of what he could throw. He could throw a high 22. He could just as easily throw barely 21 meters at the same meet in the same type of shape. And that's just because his technique is, a lot can go wrong with it based off the way he throws. So I think this is an exciting competition. I'm excited to see what people are going to throw. I'd like for everyone to try to put in their picks for these different events in the comments section below. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Are Sam and I total idiots, or is it just me? Because I know at least I'm an idiot. So I'd appreciate to hear what you guys have to say. Keep the conversation going. This is going to be a super exciting World Championship. We hope you tune in. I believe they're streaming in the United States on Peacock. Internationally, I'm not sure where they stream, so try to find out where you can watch these championships. Lots of cool stories, lots of big upsets potentially, which has me excited because I actually think the upsets are more interesting to talk about, more fun to watch than even just the expectations of far throws. So like I said, comment down below your picks. And if you want to become a better thrower, you want to improve your strength, you want to improve your technique, make sure you head down to the description box below. Click that first link in the description. It is a link to our throws-based strength training program, custom programming created by Coach Sam Weeks here. He has worked with some of the top throwers in the United States in high school, as well as some of the best Olympians in the United States, other Olympic athletes. He is a gold mine of information to make you a better thrower as a coach. So make sure you click that link down below so you can drop some bombs. And we hope to see you in Tokyo. Peace.